We want to build this intercontinental trade platform that allows us to build the continent. Nobody told me to do this.
Sure.
It's coming in from inside out. It won't run out. These are minerals from here.
Yeah.
That our people from here could have been benefiting from and leveraging from. You know, when I look at Julius Malema, I respect him. Let me tell you why.
Spread the fire. Welcome back to Owning Our Wealth, brought to you by Nungu Diamonds. And today I'm extremely excited to be joined by an academic thinker and a serial entrepreneur, none other than Talifhani Banks.
Oh, brother, thank you so much.
Welcome to SMWX.
You're amazing. You've been doing great. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And it's great in this series we're able to speak to entrepreneurs and innovators. So often we're speaking to political decision makers, but it's great to
bring it down. You bring it doin to us to understand it.
Sure.
Many times we miss it, yeah. But when you bring them here, I think I've been watching and I love it. It made me understand politics.
Sure. Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
And I'm interested in your journey and the role that your academic life has played in your entrepreneurial life. You're the founder of Analytics X, Spaza Eats, for those who don't know.
Yes.
So juggling some big entrepreneurial tasks.
Ambitious.
Indeed. But tell us about the academic origins of what got you interested in data.
I studied econometrics at Tux. My degree is in statistics, so I had two options, whether to major in actuarial science or econometrics.
Sure.
But I'm as much as I'm a numbers person, I like understanding what it means, and econometrics was my route. It's something that I can tell you. I can even now, don't have to be in class to. It's natural. So when I was in econometrics,
statistics dribbled some of us, but at least you were there.
Yes, and it's a dribbler. It's a study of understanding, making sense of numbers.
Sure, sure.
And when you are doing stats, and as you progress to other layers, you realize that you actually can use different formulas to solve anything. You just need to know the right formula. So it's a study of understanding formulas to the right problem. That's why the statisticians, they're solving problems, whether it's in bioeconomics, whether it's law, they are in different spaces because of that. So my specialty was econometrics. And econometrics, it's a study of understanding economy, macro level, micro, and also international level, international economics, and also public economics. And all of that was my base. But when I got to corporate, I always say that most of my friends are guys who are working at reserve banks and stuff.
Sure.
These are sharp guys. But I think I'm an entrepreneur, so I loved retail. So when they were applying graduate programs for banking, I was applying for retail, and I started mine at a company called Damon Worldwide, and I was consulting at Massmart, and it was an international company from Connecticut. So when I'm at Massmart, I'm still connecting with the guys who are in US, who are in Asia and stuff. That opened my eyes. Because in macro, when I was in Massmart, I was analyzing brands. I was a private brands analyst. Then I moved to Pick n Pay. I was a analyst and worked in different things, Smart Shopper, all those type of things. You become like an engine for the organization. Got to meet Raymond Ackerman, and he became my mentor as well.
Wow. What was that like, by the way?
He's sharp, man. Let me tell you about these guys.
Sure.
And that's what I learned about myself.
Yeah.
They do not have to know the details. They just need to know the formula. And because they know the formula, they can tell you without being there. So people look at me and say, but I am smarter than I'm God. No, I'm a picture teller. And I just need to make the picture make sense. I think in mind maps, I've got different boxes. So that's what I learned about him. He's got different solutions to the same thing. And in his 90s, you still couldn't touch. And also he's got a gift of inspiration. You know, this is something we don't talk about, that when you meet greatness, they can spark the fire. They can light it up. Whether you're in darkness or what, it just switch on.
Sure.
And that's what happened to me. Being lightened up from him, it won't stop. It's coming. Greatness can be transferred. So when I was with him, he was talking about the 5 legs on the table: pricing, merchandising, promotion, administration, all of those legs that builds a business.
Sure.
At that time, I didn't fully understand I was a data science, but that is what I live by now. Yeah. So that knowledge still. Then I worked. I was growing very fast. As much as I was in corporate, I was also passionate about it. My last job was at AutoZone. I was reporting to the CEO of AutoZone. I was a business analyst. I was reporting to Derek, 240 stores, and I'm managing 240 stores. Before I left, they were coming from wholesale, and they now wanted to run as a retail, and they wanted to streamline pricing. So I've helped build models for pricing of a retail from a wholesale. So you can understand models. I need to know what is going on. I need to know this. That's where I'm coming from. Until one day, one of the European company, they hired them to build a system that automated what I built.
I see.
You don't have to tell me. I already know there's something here. Yeah. And that's when I started analytics. Analytics is a company. On that time, I was saying it's coming from behavioral economics. It's a study of understanding people, understanding customers, but you need to build a system that allows them. When you see rewards, rewards to us is, I'll get rewards, I'll get 3 Rand, I'll get 4 Rand. But in the back end, reward is how many of our customers are in the same segment. What are they buying? When do they buy? Now we know what to predict. Then you build predictive modeling and stuff.
Sure.
So when I was building analytics, was to build a company that will make emerging and large corporations understand their customers better. And whether we're building a reward system, whether we're building an inventory management system, or whether we're building project management, or whether we're just analyzing your data. Then as we grow, digital, you can see digital was coming 2019, 2020. Companies started migrating data to cloud. Sure. And that's when we started learning a lot of cloud, AWS, Azure, Huawei Cloud. And that's where we started becoming partners to those. And we started I've helped a whole bank in another country to migrate to cloud.
Wow.
Yeah. And that is exciting stuff that we get to do, and it excites to do. But as you are building this company, Analytics X, now you are winning some accolades, you're winning this. I've got over 19 awards in analytics, with management of system, management of technology, because my strength is really inspiring others, bringing inspiration, drawing a picture, innovating. And when I'm in the room, everyone is good. Yeah, it doesn't matter what you are giving. I am able to bring the gift in you.
Sure.
And when I'm not in the room, some people might miss it. That's where you hear management saying, these people are not good. They're not none. They just don't have the fire. They're not getting the fire from it. So as we were growing, I'm now realizing that we've got all technical skills, from software to data engineering, data science, marketing. What worse could happen? Build your own technology. And I'm realizing this when I was in Russia, winning BRICS Entrepreneur. Guys are solving their continent's problem.
Absolutely.
I'm solving companies' problems.
Sure.
Then I went to the AU, to the African Union, and I'm meeting some directors. Everyone is talking about AFCFTA, African Continental Free Trade. And no one have a solution. It's just theory. But in my mind, it just hit me. Continental trade is technology. It's digitization. It's digitization.
So true, yeah.
The best way to intercontinental trade is to build a digital tool that allows digital trade and build a coin, digital currency. I'm from Econometrics. And it will work. That digital currency will work in Botswana, in Zambia, in what. We don't have to wait for that.
And that can facilitate trade
1,000%. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And first, when I went to Penn, I was telling him I'm going to build it because I was still putting it together. And that's the thing about it. I've got too much confidence in myself because I've done it.
Sure.
And some people mistake it for arrogance, but it's me. I have the knowing. I do not have to wait for you to clap for me. Without clapping, I'll still do. So I was trying to say that we want to build this intercontinental trade platform that allows us to build the continent. There's still a lot of opportunities we can come up with, the same way Transnet was doing. So, but if you build it on a high level and you call it a Swahili name or something like that, you might miss the ground. And you will need a lot of marketing. Simplify this thing. Start it from the bottom level, where you understand. Make it make sense, and then build it up. As you scale up, then you can do that.
Sure.
I just needed a commercialization name, Spaza Eats. Spaza is a commercialization name, but the whole model is Continental Trade Platform.
Interesting.
So Spaza Eats resonate in Soweto. If it resonates in Soweto, it resonates in Atteridgeville. What we're doing, let's start with the conversation that works, food delivery.
Yeah.
We're delivering food, African cuisines. Then we build it up, we add other small-scale farmers, then we're adding supermarkets, and then you add electronics, general merchandise. We're building it up. Now we're adding this craftsmanship. That's where it's going.
Sure.
And now we're starting, I've pushed it within 2 years to be like more national. And I've got big partnerships. I mean, Spaza Eats now is transacting as it's like a fintech at the back.
Right.
It's a combination of fintech and commerce. That's what we're doing.
So you're building effectively a platform where people can trade whatever that may be.
Yes.
It could eventually
1,000% from ground level.
Sure.
So imagine a guy who's making things with his hands and he didn't have market. Now he doesn't have to chase anything. He can sit there and still attract people. And obviously when you go to electronics and GMD, we open it up to by region, not by... when it's food now, it's within 10-kilometer radius.
Sure.
So we're categorizing these things in the back end. Now you're giving people access, and from bottom level, that's where it's coming from.
I see.
So now I'm juggling between two companies, and we'll see.
What's that like? You've got the analytics side, you've now got the trade platform side, and you want to now try build both of these things. What are some of the challenges and the rewards of juggling these two entities?
We've got a lot of problem at the moment because e-commerce adoption in the township is still very low. And people themselves, they are not ready for digital. So they might look like they are, but we've got thousands of restaurants and grocery stores, and person can get an order and be offline on data. You understand it? But that affects the process of... And then you might find that people are not really used to this technology, that they don't update their menu, and you still have mohodu there and people order, and then you say, oh, today, hey, what's thinking today? Those are the things.
Sure.
And then you realize that, if you want to activate the township, there wasn't a lot of activities on deliveries. So now we needed to activate ourselves. We needed to speak about it. And that is a challenge. So you can end up attracting a lot of orders that you can't meet demand. So you end up partnering with existing platforms. Existing delivery platforms.
Sure.
Yeah. So those are the type of challenges, and that's food. And then on e-commerce, on analytics, I've had my fair share of challenge. I've hired management, I've hired this, but one thing I missed is that I am gifted at innovation, and I still need to be around innovation, not management level, but innovation to spark the brain that will keep building technology. So I feel like that has slowed down when I was in there, and people just did enough to move. But now I'm trying to combine them with trying to think, okay, we need one big office that include all of us, so I can just be around. I do not have to be a CEO. I think there's certain people for this. I'm an innovator. Yeah. So that's how it is. But and then the other challenge is that running establishments like this, they need to be highly successful and competing on the highest level. They need your 100% focus, 100% energy. And now you can't duplicate yourself at the highest level. So you are 50-50, and another one needs 70% of you because you're still in emerging. We're still battling on that. But 3-4 years, I've got it.
It's interesting, the academic journey building into the entrepreneurial journey, because so much of the world right now has become statistical.
Yes. State.
And sure. And it's almost like a superpower to be able to harness that statistical knowledge.
1,000%.
Like this, people think what we're doing here as media, a lot of this is analytical.
You have to know your listeners. You have to know how when they listen and what type of content they're listening to. There's our sentiments, analytics, digital data. And in my world, we analyze a lot of internal data. This is data that's coming from systems.
I see.
This is how I can break it down. Let me give an example with like a bank.
Yeah.
A bank has got a lot of data that is coming in, or a Spaza Eats now with a lot of transaction.
Sure.
That's a lot of data that is coming in our systems. We can see that. We can see the behaviors. We can see the sentiments. We can see the predictive modeling. But we are not aware of what is going on outside.
Sure.
And that is digital data and digital sentiments, or what people are doing. then digital becomes that tool to help us know what is going on and how we should communicate our product better. And in a banking world, you've got internal data, you've got digital data, you need Beru data as well to know how is the credit performance, how are people buying, what are they owing, what type of credit is winning on an average, on a general level. That allows you to know what type of new product to create. So you can use data to create a new product. You can also use it to understand your customers and things like that. So usually in analytics, when we're building dashboards and data engineering, either we're helping with data migration or we're helping building insights. And insights can be something like, I always talk about RFM modeling. RFM modeling is it's a relationship between frequency of how many customers are coming, or how many times the customers are coming, recency, when did they come, and monetary value. So sometimes you want to understand how frequent are they coming to buy from us, and what value are they buying, which pain point is this. Now that you know this, you go to your customer sensitivity, who's your champion customers, who's your churning, and then you want to bring it back, and who's your new customers, what are they interested in. Then you also go to time series, you build forecasting models, you want to know, in your case, you want to know who is going to listen to us in the future. What type of conversation should we be bringing? And how should we deliver it? Is this set up right for that message?
Sure.
And all of this plays a role to how to create the new content for the new listener. Maybe this listener is good for politics. Maybe the other segment you want to cater for entrepreneurship or lifestyle. Maybe it might mean that we need to change a studio. You know what I mean?
Sure, exactly.
All of that data helps you influence how you move next. And that's how, and this, as a data scientist, I can apply this skill in any room.
Yeah.
So now we're applying it on stats, on Spaza Eats, and we're seeing how that goes. But I'm still also growing as an entrepreneur. I think we do not allow our entrepreneurs to be, or artists, or all of this. We don't allow people to be themselves. I think people expect you to be excellent forever.
At all times.
And when, to be honest, with innovation, you need to fail, and we need to be okay with failing. And I have to fail to get it right.
There was something Elon Musk, who let's leave his political shenanigans out of the picture. But I mean, as an entrepreneur, you've got to marvel at his ability to build new things.
He's powerful.
That he said that actually stuck with me, where he was like, if you're not failing a certain amount of times, you're not pushing yourself as hard as you need to push yourself. And we often try to stay within a certain band of success. Make ourselves feel good, and then we think, oh, I'm successful. But you're actually only really successful when you're pushing the boundaries of failure.
1000%. You are doing, let's say you've got 5 talents that needs to be, you need to release by the time you leave this earth. If you're playing in your talent 1, you are not, you think you have done your best, but you only did your 1. The more you do more different things and challenge yourself quickly, you'll get to a point where you do talent 1, talent 2, talent 3, talent 4, and you're able to do all 5 talents at the same time. Now they're looking at him like, why is he doing all of this? Why is it? No, he's reached the highest level where it doesn't take him 5 hours to solve that problem. It takes him an hour. Yes, I've got a little bit of that now. The reason why I don't work a lot at the office is not that I can't solve the problem. It's just that it gets you, you become inside, and I always want to stand on side so I can take us to the next level. But if you come up with any question, never a time when anyone comes to me, the office, and they ask me something complex to them, and I was not able to solve it. Nothing. It rarely happens. Can ask Wanta. At any time I'm ready. And it's not because I'm smartest person. It's just I've probably touched different things.
And you've seen those patterns. I've
seen the patterns, and I know how to execute in every, let's say in my mind, I'm thinking in mind maps, and every box has its own chapter. I've lived that chapter. That now it doesn't take me a day to think about it.
So in terms of Spaza Eats, because I'm quite interested in this idea, we've spoken about it from the technical perspective, but if effectively, and correct me if I'm wrong, what you're trying to do here is take a network of different service providers who may be creating food. Let's stay within food for now. Who usually would have to service a community that comes to them physically, and you're now connecting them to a whole wider network. And almost bringing from an informal kind of economy into a formal sector.
I love that. You understand it. I love that you see it. My mother used to run a Spaza shop. That Spaza shop ran since 2000. It doesn't scale. It's a basic survivalist mindset when you see them. And they might be making money according to themselves.
Sure.
Making 6,000, 7,000. I don't know if it's because they don't have knowledge, but they're comfortable with it being like that. But that same Spaza shop served us that we are now competing on the highest level, went to university. How many more people can you serve if you can help one Spaza? What I'm trying to do is that if you can help one Spaza shop owner increase their radius from 30 people who are coming to buy daily. Now they've got 70 because of people who are within 10-kilometer radius can now reach them and reach the beggar. You have increased their orders from maybe making 1,500 to 4,000 today. If you can do this for 30 days, you have served a family. Sure. And not only that, you have created bankability because most of them, people are buying cash. They can't really prove to a bank that they're making 6,000, 7,000. That's why they don't qualify for credit.
Sure.
It's not that people are previously disadvantaged. It's that the ways of behaviors of their business is not included in the ecosystem. Now, through this digital system like Spaza Eats, it becomes the proof. Then you realize, after a while, we realize that we only have digital data of their transaction. We need to know on the ground. That's why we brought the POS machines.
Right.
The Spaza Eats POS machines to allow them to tap, to customers to tap.
I see. Tell us about that.
So the idea is that we are a merchant bank. I've got a TPPP Reserve Bank sponsored by Nedbank. I'm basically a neobank. So which means that I can manage people's money. So now that I've got that opportunity, online is one way. And I'm still waiting for adoption to grow.
Sure.
Now, there are still a lot of people, if you've seen the other pay gates and other guys, there are still a lot of people who still miss an order because they do not have a machine to accept a card payment. I shouldn't allow that. Because I've got access to a merchant, let's give them a machine connected to our merchant bank. And they will make money the same way they make with online.
Sure.
We pay them. In the future, that's why I've built another solution that we're going to be talking a lot about it in the next years. It's called Spaza Wallet. The future is that I would like to see a machine transacting money straight to wallet, to the merchant's wallet. And the wallet is like an app, a bank app, where they can transact now. They can buy stock, they can transfer money, they can receive money real time. I will send you a link to Spaza Wallet. You can do that right now.
Wow.
I just need to integrate. So I'm living in those ideas, and a lot of people, they look at me and think this boy is madness. I think that future belongs to innovators and creators. I'm not saying that it's gonna 100%, but I'm saying that if in an economy where we are cash driven, and in Kenya it's working to have mobile money, and other areas in East Africa.
Sure.
Why not integrate it? Because that is what is missing.
Absolutely. It's so doable and it's so possible. And in economies like India, I remember visiting Mumbai and seeing people like sending money via WhatsApp to other people, and I was like, that's because they unlocked the data cost thing, and once that was unlocked,
then they go to the next one.
Exactly.
So who, if not me, who should do it in South Africa? Tell me.
Absolutely. And what's so inspiring about it is that in terms of South Africa's history, up until this point, everyone who's been in a position to do these kind of things which unlock economic growth have come from a certain sphere of privilege, shall we say.
Yes.
And to have young black entrepreneurs
from there.
Exactly. Actually doing it. That's what you know. And
that's my advantage. That's my competitive advantage. Because everyone else is looking at me like, let's see. And then the corporates are looking at me like, I see him, but what they do not understand is the fire is in me. Nobody told me to do this.
Sure.
It's coming in from inside out. It won't run out. And the second thing is that I am part of the innovators that have done it before. Sure. I'm in the same ecosystem with them. So when I'm doing it, I will meet the people who are the answers. We'll meet the solvers. So the township is cash driven. We are not solving it. So I'm thinking if we start now, we are building up to it. Yeah. And I'm owning an ecosystem. It's not just a pay gate where you don't get to reach the people. I reach the people. Because now I've got the data. You know what? Any retail that can tell you, only now they're starting to get in township. No, in my time of a Pick and Pay, no retailer could tell you how is the township data And that was the purchasing pen. And over 200 billion spent in the township. Over 60% of people stay in the township.
Sure.
How is it that we're sitting there and comfortably happy that we don't understand this market?
Sure.
That's it. And then we've got people who are sitting in top level position who are from there, but they have been conditioned to think like the privileged people. You shouldn't forget where you're coming from. You need to go back and put a ladder.
Yeah.
And how you put a ladder is how do you use the current knowledge and give it back? If you build a system like a Spaza Eats, connect these guys, you've basically created a system for the township. That's why ShopRite called me Money Market. That's why Massmart called me. That's why now I've got Bitvest sponsoring us.
Yeah.
That's why I've got BP stores on Spaza Eats and Pick and Pay Express. What you are seeing is a trend of township and corporate coming together, and I'm a middleman.
Sure.
Yeah.
I saw DJ Sbu has come onto the platform. Shout out to him.
It's only right.
Yeah.
It's only right. He could have been in other platforms, and he is on other platforms. He could have been talking about them alone, but
yeah, sure.
What is Mzakes Kitchen?
Absolutely.
Mzakes Kitchen is Spaza Eats. So he doesn't have to sell anything. It's what it is.
Yeah.
We just need to collaborate. Now we've collaborated. You buy a meal, a platter. You've got a Spaza Eats meal sponsored. And that's exciting. And I want to do more of this with others. Bailey's, got a king on our advert. We did that.
Sure.
So that's the center of what I'm doing. But at the same time, I'm also an inspiration to many people. And I like sharing knowledge on entrepreneurship.
What did you learn with your mother's Spaza
Business.
shop that has stuck with you today? Because it's quite a nice full circle story.
Yes.
That your mother owned a Spaza
Spaza
shop.
shop.
You're now trying to.
And my father owned a micro lending business. I never talk about it. There was a time when I was staying with him in Atteridgeville. I'm from Louis-Trichardt, but I stayed with him in Atteridgeville. He was counting 150,000
Wow.
from lending. He used to work for Transnet. He used to lend people. This guy is not from school. I helped him calculate these monies. I helped him do that. Now I'm doing lending on Spaza. I've applied for NCR.
You've combined both your parents.
That's the origin. And somebody's expecting me to talk about anywhere else. I'm talking from my origin. Spaza shop, Fintech, we're doing that.
Sure.
So what I learned is that when we are growing up, and I used to see some parents say, no, my child don't do that. My child, they don't sell. And they're thinking they're special like that. It looked like special. But you are taking away the opportunity for your child to have confidence in themselves, to walk into someone to sell that they know very well they're not going to buy and still have confidence to do it. You're taking that away. I have done this multiple times. If you think that I'm going to sit there in the room and I'm going to sit down and say, hey, let me wait for, I am going to sell, my brother. I am going to be the one. And if we don't have anything nice here to sell, I'm going to create it from what we have.
Yeah.
It's what I've learned. How do you become resourceful with what you have? And this is what a lot of educated people don't have.
Very true.
They've got the knowledge, but where do I start? And then the start is the ground, is that connection. To say, start where you can. You can start with watermelons. People are selling them 40 Rand, cut them into 6 and sell them 40 Rand each, and package them. And, you can do that. Or do something else, provide a service with the skills you have. If you're a lawyer, you know how many people need a contract. If you are an accountant, how many people need bookkeeping, how many people need financial literacy. It's there.
Yeah.
So, and Spaza Eats becomes that now. And another thing, that's what my mother taught me, and it's in me. But right now, we need to realize that I've created access to market. If you are owning a chicken farm, you do not have to wait for a corporate company to buy, to distribute.
Sure.
I can give you 100 SMEs who are selling quarters and wings that you can supply to. It's an access to market.
Sure. And another one of our guests on SMWX was talking about the food economy and how at present, even though it looks like there are lots of different distributors and suppliers, when you really go into it, like all aspects of the economy, it's just 4 or 5 big players because
1,000.
we don't have these access to market opportunities.
And then those guys, they become the incubators. If it's a potato company and it's the only one or two, then they go and look for other farmers to buy, to distribute to them. Then they distribute. So that's what is happening. And it's not like that's still not economics. It's still not there yet.
Yeah.
What I have now, I can give you 100 Spaza shops that are selling wings. It's a direct market. that you do not need any retail.
Yeah.
Yes. That's why I've got food, I've got supermarket, and I've got, what is this? What do you call? It's almost like small scale farmers. So not large, but you can produce potatoes that can go to 10 restaurants kind of thing.
Sure.
That's where we're going.
How do you view what we need to do with the South African economy more broadly? Because you've studied economics, econometrics.
Yes.
You're in the microeconomy as a firm.
Yes.
But
mindset and macro, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
I mean, what do you think are the levers that we need to pull on the South African economy right now that can help take us to that next level?
Thank you so much for this platform, and thank you for bringing me here.
For sure.
Because the things I'm saying now is not different from what I was saying 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I just sounded stupid to a lot of people not awakened. I'm going to say the same thing.
Sure.
The future of economic growth is entrepreneurship. Bottom line. And then somebody said, no, not all of us are entrepreneurs. That's not what I'm saying. When you wake up and go to work, you are an entrepreneur. You are trading your skills. You're trading whatever.
Sure.
The art of economic growth is around that. Whether you are trading your skills, whether you're trading your resources, that's what we need to do. So there's an element of people who are waiting for someone to make them productive.
Yeah, sure.
That productivity is stagnant. And that's what's causing a lot of things. If you have learned service knowledge or knowledge that makes you a service person, start by providing a service, or call me at Spaza Eats. I'll give you 2 restaurants that you should manage. They are making about 50,000. You can start making something. If you are business management, I'll help you, give you maybe 1 restaurant that have 3 of them. Maybe you can help him set up. This is the new economics. What is missing is that the opportunities that are existing now, they are not the same as before. You're not going to work for Transnet. You're not going to work for Eskom. You're not going to work for ABSA. The companies you should work for should be new innovations that exist now in the digital world. Do you know why there's increase in unemployment? It's because the companies, the skills that we used to need, if we used to need 10 people to run Excel, now you just need 2 people.
Sure.
AI, brother.
Yeah.
And you run machine learning models. Machine learning, robotic processes, when a machine is running data for you. Why would I need data analysts to analyze and data cleaners when I've got a machine to run it? Now I don't need 5 people. I need 1. That's the problem. So we need new solutions that will give us new jobs. Things like Spaza Eats is the new jobs because it's existing in different provinces, different areas.
Yeah.
So on a broader level, we now need to be active on new ways of trade. That is what is going to make activity in one community. One community activity builds up to another community, and in the overall it's performance. When one community, only 30% people are working and are active, you're already out. And when they are waiting, and also our now politics that they need to know, we need to spark the brain of creation. We need to inspire creation. Someone like me who's a top entrepreneur, have turned out from bricks and have done so much. Would you think that I'm not as good as to be an entrepreneur? I'm a good export of one of the entrepreneurs here. Why don't see any support from your guys?
Sure.
Why don't see anyone saying, oh, that's it. That's what we'll pick up. They look at it like, I think we should come up with something new. There's no support for innovators here. Sure. And because of that, you can only do so much. When you do so much, you can't create for many. So when you have spotted talent, like a More Fire, like your podcast, this is a new ways of TV. Why don't you help it grow it? Because that's what it should be doing.
Yeah, you're so right. And it's something we hear so much on this platform, like the sources of external support that can give you that boost are just non-existent.
And I don't know if I'm saying it wrong, because I'm not saying I need help and I need exist, because I've got here without help.
Yeah, exactly. 8
years now. I'm saying that boosting me increases opportunities.
Sure.
If I have built a business like a Spaza Eats by myself with over 100,000 customers, over 4,000 active, plus there's others that we are helping them to be active, almost 8,000 merchants that are in this ecosystem.
Yeah.
And you've got over 200 drivers. If those drivers were local, if these international platforms were hiring local drivers.
Sure.
This is not science.
Unemployment would be in a different place. Eh?
And then I go to policy making and stuff, and you find that the people who are making policies are not from here. It's all companies that are not from here. How are you going to trade? This is tariffs, brother.
So true.
You know why we can't set tariffs? Because the companies that are governing us here, the companies that are doing well here, are the ones setting policies.
So true. I mean,
they can decline to what I'm in the field. That's the difference. When I'm speaking, it's not theory.
Yeah. And also with the tariff thing.
Yeah.
And now that you're an economist, I can.
Yes.
Like we talk about how these tariffs are going to affect South African firms. Meanwhile, it's the American firms that just happen to be in South Africa in the first place.
My brother,
but who's being tariffed here? Because your company came into our country and now you're exporting back to your country.
That's it. That's what I'm saying. So
where are we in this equation?
Why am I looking mad then?
Yeah.
Why am I looking mad talking that?
Absolutely.
Because if you put I can't say the names, but
sure.
if I put tariffs there, we're done, brother.
Yeah.
And we also allow the young locals to also grow without limiting them, but we increase our growth without charging VAT.
Sure.
Why are you not doing that? Why are you being friendly with somebody who's here to take?
Sure.
These are multinational companies. They've got multi-countries that they're doing well in.
Absolutely.
Why don't you build from within? How many innovations from here that you can talk about?
Absolutely.
Then you've got a guy who moved from what he was. The positions we have, the positions you have in whatever you have, these are critical positions to make a change. You see what Ibrahim Traore is doing?
Absolutely. Not playing games there in Cote d'Ivoire. I'm not Cote d'Ivoire.
Education is free now.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Back in the days, people used to
Burkina
chase us home if you didn't have school fees, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, when you look at China as well, people talk about intellectual property and all of that stuff. One of the things the Asian tigers did well is they said, okay, we see the things that are working in other places in the world. We're not just going to invite them into our country to exploit. We're just going to build a new one here.
And partner with them while we're producing within.
Sure.
That's why now they can do trade wars, brother.
Absolutely. Hey, and they came ready for that trade war. Hey?
All the chips, all the things are coming from them. And that's why, like, it looks, the guys are good branders. Sounds nice. But when it comes back to trade, where are you really manufacturing your electronics? That's what we need. We've got minerals that people are buying on a low cost. That's why we can talk Nungu Diamonds and others.
Absolutely.
These are minerals from here.
Yeah.
That our people from here could have been benefiting from and leveraging from. When you sell them at a cheaper cost because it helps your trade pricing and things.
Sure.
But this is where your power is.
Yeah.
They put tariffs there, you put tariffs here. And these international companies that have got, my brother, the business that are competing that I'm trying to compete with, they're doing over 100 billion, brother.
Bro.
100 billion. Tell me how many people you can employ.
Yeah.
It doesn't require any science. Then you came to find out that somebody else keeps this relationship because he wants it to work that way for him and small cycle of people. And that's what we need to deal with.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, I'm very inspired by the idea of increasing and improving intra-Africa trade, because like you say, and as we've mentioned with this tariff situation,
yes,
it's also an opportunity for Africa to trade within itself.
Within, brother.
But we don't yet have the technical mechanisms to make that happen, and if we can unlock that sets
what
us
do you think is technically missing?
Look, probably more about the technical trade than I do, but I think it seems to me that on the one hand, there's a currency question about trade happening in dollars, and how do we get around
that
dollar-based, and use our own currencies, either African currencies that currently exist or a trade currency, as you say.
Yes.
And then, just as you say, like the technological
imbalance. I think you are right on the currency level, and the reserve federal banks and them need to come together. But the way they move, we can't wait for them.
Yeah.
That's why there's crypto, there's digital currencies.
Yeah.
Let's keep innovating. That's what they will come and formalize it.
Sure.
But if you've got a platform like what I was sharing, if it can work here in South Africa, it can work in Gaborone, work in Rwanda. In 5 years, let's say it's working in over 15 countries.
Sure.
you can influence digital currency. Already now we've got I don't want to name drop, but payment gates are starting to trade in over 50 countries and over what in the continent.
Yeah.
So the payment gate becomes your partner to transact in different areas.
Sure.
Because you just need a digital ecosystem. When you see M-Pesa and them doing well across, it's because those economies are opening. We need that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is what is going to allow digital trade to happen, intercontinental. And when you talk intercontinental trade, people are thinking, people will be flocking into South Africa, this and that. You're not big like that. Everyone has got their competitive advantage. When you're in Ghana, people have got rice. When you're when you're Congo, minerals.
Absolutely.
Everyone has got their competitive advantage. And the reason why people end up going to one place is because that one place looks like it's the only economic hub. When you activate economics across, everyone is moving within. No visas to move to Uganda. The one day I missed the flight because I couldn't get my visa on time to go to Uganda. But my visa to go outside is quick.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes I have to go out to come in. What is that, man?
Yeah, no, we've got a long way to go.
Yes, but we are the new innovations. For example, with Spaza Eats alone, I've got the ability now to open it in Lesotho, Eswatini, Botswana without anything stopping me.
Excellent.
So in the next 6 months, that's what I'm pushing for. If I can do it, SADC, can we do it? Can we do it East Africa?
Absolutely.
That's the vision. But as I do this, one person or within what I have in my management team, we can only do so much. I'm from poverty, brother. There's people who are sitting with funds and they're waiting for some miracles to happen. We need to collaborate.
Yeah.
We need to work together.
I see you're also doing some work or expansion in the Middle East space.
Yes.
How are you seeing Africa and the Middle East as an important
connective?
Yeah.
According to the way I see it, I just feel like in my past life, I was staying in Egypt or somewhere there.
Yeah.
Because those economies are developing quickly, there's an easy integration to the Middle East and here. And everyone who's in the Middle East, everywhere, wherever I'm in, is like, we need to bring the solution to the continent. And let's expand, And when you are in the Middle East, it's easy to come in the continent. You are not looking in the continent as one country. You can now start providing services outside. That's how I see the advantages for us. I'm trying to position myself there because people here failed me to invest in my innovations. I've sat with investors, not people who are given money to invest on innovation. They sit there and so tell me, what does this mean? I've spent thousands of hours on this. I'm not slow. I am far from being dumb. If I'm saying something and you say that it doesn't work, just know that you haven't reached awareness to know what I'm saying. It's not that I don't understand what I'm saying. You haven't reached awareness. I've got people who have come to me and say, you see, now you are starting to take shape. Now it's starting to make sense what you do. Nah.
It's like I was always making sense.
Please, man.
Yeah. And are you finding there's more willingness to support that side than even at home?
1000%. I've reached people who wanted to invest in me So now I'm spending more time there because now I want to advance. I want it to be perfect. But I've reached people who have given me contracts. Easy work. And I'm now surprised, do you know that if I get to sell anything of what I'm doing, 50% goes outside? The whole Spaza Eats thing, then they say, he's a sellout. You see, I've always known. You see him with his hat. And when I'm doing this, it's heavy. It's taking a strain to my kids. I'm taking so much from what I have to do this for our people. Why don't you do the same as government or whatever you have? Why don't you do the same? If I'm not doing it right, why don't you come and do it? There are people who are making $2 billion a year on transacting on fintech. I've sat with investors who are investing on fintech and they say it's easy to invest on fintech because transactions are easier. And now when I'm growing on fintech, because transactions are per minute, they're like, you see, that fintech, we can fund that. That one is still a Red Sea. You see, I can't deal with this, man. And some of the people that I'm talking to are not from here. Some of them are from privilege. I'm expecting you, who's from where I'm from, to understand what I'm doing in a broader perspective and know that it doesn't need to be perfect. We need to run it together. That's what I'm experiencing as a challenge. So when I go to Middle East and I'm spending more time there, and in the future, if you find me staying there full time, it's because I'm tired. Yeah.
I was seeing recently that the fintech funding space is actually just 4 times the size of everything else.
Yes, it's booming. It's booming.
Yeah, so
they are easily investing. I've met some of them. Some of them I was also talking in a meeting where I was giving a reference to another fintech, and they say, "Oh wow, that's what you see." Oh, because I'm also seeing from. Okay. And in my mind, I was like, this is it, man.
Yeah.
Do you know, like, once we started giving machines, our machines and all that process is now beating our e-commerce.
Wow. Look at that.
And now I'm talking to partners.
Yeah.
And I don't want to name drop them because I want to know who's coming in first.
Sure.
Whoever gives me 5,000 machines, I'm doing over 100 million a month on transactions, on postal, on those fintech. Yeah.
Wow.
And this is not 5 years. This is this year. The only thing I need to figure out is who gives me 5,000 and how fast do I distribute them? I'm already sitting on hundreds now that we've given out now. Things like that.
And these are not theoretical people to give them to. It's actual business.
This is happening.
Yeah.
It's happening. And these are people who already have those posts. These are people, whether it's a bank, whether it's what, they already know. I think the question also is like, do you think we can trust him? Do you think we can because he's on the ground, so he's gonna come with a bigger market, and that shouldn't be the problem. We are transacting. I'm a business person, and as long as I know that I have that madness in me, but it's not like I will jeopardize what we're creating together, you know. And I don't know. Some of them, I don't know if it's because of my presentation, my hair, I look Nigerian. They think, hey, Nigerians, we can't work with. But I'm on the ground.
Sure.
Whoever comes first, I'm working with them. And I can tell you, it's not going to be when you agree with me working. It's already working. The model is there.
Are there any inspirations, whether that's resources or people that have been important to you in your journey?
Yeah, there's so many people who have inspired me. And I can't give shout out to all of them. But Raymond Ackerman is one of them. Sure. How much have you done, you know? At that time when he left Checkers, it was like, he's done.
Yeah.
Greatness can. And then I look at the Steve Jobs, you kick him out. And that's the reason why I'm still unable to, because I probably would have listed or I probably would have done these things. But the madness I have in me, the innovation in me, they're going to kick me out. They don't understand this guy.
Sure.
So I need to do it when I'm ready to be out. You know, and then I get inspired by some of the African continental leaders, Kwame Nkrumah, Mensa Musa, Ibrahim Traore. When I look at Julius Malema, I respect him. Let me tell you why. And I'm not political, so I'm just trying to say.
Sure.
If you find a brother fighting someone from outside, I jump in and I help support my brother to fight the next person. That's what I do. That's what I understand about life.
Sure.
If there's someone who's trying to speak for us and talk economically, the freedom fight is economic. I'm not trying to say that is the future, but the future is economics.
Absolutely.
And if there's a brother who's trying to say, I'm in the fight, let's go. So I respect what he's trying to do and the emancipation of many. Because also, I don't know if you will allow this, but I feel like religion has been used to psyop our African people.
Nothing is disallowed here, brother.
My brother. So Allah, thank you for allowing me. But we can't have a population of religious people and not succeeding if it works. So something is broken.
Sure.
So you keep them psyoped and undergrounded because you use it to make them not perform at their highest level of consciousness. What I believe Yeshua wanted to do was to say that rise from within. Your consciousness must go to the highest. Then you become Christ. But that has been misinterpreted that you are waiting for some guy with gray hair and white hair to come and help you.
Even blonde hair.
Even blonde hair. The Christ is within. God is within. And trust that you are given talents and gifts to solve anything. And trust that ideas, they don't come fully formed. But when you are inside, you will find answers. You will find people. Answers comes through people. We are spiritual people. We are energy. We are what? We are air. And we are all connecting on the highest level. When we are in the room, we both know what to do. And we don't start because we're expecting things to be perfect.
Sure.
But what you need to realize is keep walking and you'll meet the people who are like you to walk with you. And that's what's missing.
Absolutely. When you were talking about the fundraising landscape, what's it like in those rooms? Because few of us have seen those rooms, where you're talking about big sums and
you're asking 30 million and they look at you like
only.
Yes. It's powerful to be in the room.
Yeah.
The only thing you could wish for is that people could be in your mind and interpret it as you, because most of them are looking for profitability. So they'll say, no, it's good, it's doing well, but just give him like a year or two. And that is what is delaying your progress.
Right.
Yeah, but most of the time they are keen. When you go outside, like when you're in Dubai, and that's why I associate myself that side.
Sure.
They're looking at Africa as an opportunity. They're not looking at it as a country. They're looking at Africa as where the market is.
Yeah.
Whether we're deploying fintech, whether we're deploying technology, it's a market. And it doesn't matter where we start. Oh, you are connected. You are in South Africa. Oh, we can start there. They are looking at it like that.
Sure.
So when they look at a Spaza Eats, oh, it's a start. It's a start of where we are on the ground. How many people you said you have? Oh, yeah. When you have 1 million, we're going to be. It's a start. The people from here, they're looking, how much profit did you make?
Sure.
How much profit can you barely make from minimum investment?
Yeah.
Yes. We need to be real about these things, that people are expecting miracles. The fact that I've built Analytics X and I've been to Russia, is that not enough for you to know that I'm capable to be a good entrepreneur?
Sure.
Yes. I feel like that's what's missing here on the ground.
For the future, what are some of the things that are exciting you going forward for both Analytics X and Spaza Eats?
I don't know if I'll come with another. I was listening to another entrepreneur. He's like, I failed before and I went bankrupt. But when I came back, I learned that I need to start acquiring companies, because it's not only about developing. And I'm like, I've read the cash flow quadrant, Robert Kiyosaki.
Okay.
And I've been sitting on business quadrant. I mean,
Sure.
so there's an employee quadrant, self-employed quadrant, business quadrant, then investor quadrant.
I see.
I've been sitting on the business quadrant for too long.
Sure, building your own things.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm like, maybe I need to start moving into looking at innovation and acquiring innovation. So in the next few years, I'm seeing what else elements is missing that I can bring together.
Yeah.
And then we build this amalgamation.
Sure,
and we go list.
you could acquire some interesting things that then feed into your value chain.
1000%. I'm ready to work, brother. I'm ready to work. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Ready. Yeah. And then apart from that, it's more about collaborating with other brands. Nungu Diamonds, when I look at them.
Absolutely.
When you look at Nungu Diamonds, local diamonds, producers. Why should I be buying diamonds outside? People still have a perception that the diamonds from US are better than here. And you find that US bought them from here.
Yeah, they're actually from here.
We need to emancipate oneself from mental slavery. If someone is starting a business from here with diamonds and is selling diamond rings, whether it's engagement, whether it's whatever, you need to be buying from them.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Absolutely.
that's it. So I'm associating myself with these guys, and I'm learning diamond business, and I'm learning how they operate. I'm also helping them with analytics, making them streamline the business, understand what is selling. And we've seen that most people who are buying from them are usually engagement, buying that one ring for your girlfriend.
Interesting.
That has been a growth, and also vow renewals. So people who are renewing their vows. The thing also about diamond is like it's a little bit expensive, so maybe it's that certain market.
Sure.
But I've seen that there's a trend of youngsters, professionals who want to really who love their partners that are investing in diamonds, and that's what they're doing. So shout out to them.
Absolutely. Shout out to them. They've helped us with this series of owning our wealth, and the whole idea, which you tap into so squarely, is how do we now take the wealth that we have, intellectual resources, and how do we now start to own it ourselves and be the first generation to truly own this wealth?
Be the first generation. My brother, I always say this. We are reading. I just don't know if the information we're reading is enough to be quantified as knowledge, and knowledge to be quantified. So a true knowledge must transform you. It must transform you.
Sure.
And true knowledge makes a man unfit to be a slave mentally. What I mean by that is you can't have knowledge and sit down and say, I'm waiting for them to help me, or I'm waiting for them to tell me where to go. You are not emancipated. So because we've got wealth of knowledge, professionals, graduates, masters, let's start using that knowledge to create, to innovate, to plug in.
Absolutely.
Come to Spaza Eats, help us with something.
Collaborate.
You can only, sometimes you can find that you are, you can volunteer for a month or two, and people can see your skills. Offer your service. When they say it's about giving, they're not talking about giving money, giving your talents and skills.
Sure.
When you see that I'm lacking here and you've got answers, why are you not giving me the skills and we work together? I've always been open for collaboration. I'm a good collaborator, I believe.
Sure.
But the people always wait, how much you're going to give me? And I can only do how much you can give me at up until a certain level. There's so many things that are missing on our innovation that if we were 500, we could have been getting done.
Yeah.
So that's what's missing.
Absolutely. Well, brother, we wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. And thank you for your platform, your knowledge, whatever you're doing with emancipating people, sparking the brain. It's
media is part of this whole ecosystem, and owning our wealth also means owning our own narratives, so
thank you
we'll
so
play our
much.
part.
And being around yourself, and you grew up with one of my favorite artists.
Yes.
I respect that, brother.
No. Shout out to AKA. May his soul rest in peace.
Shout out. Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
And make sure, if you're not part of Spaza Eats already, make sure that you become part of that community. Like, share, subscribe, follow brother Talifhani Banks on all social media platforms, and make sure that you keep it locked on SMWX. On the series Owning Our Wealth, we're profiling some of the most exciting and innovative minds in entrepreneurship, in scholarship, in the economy, and bringing them to you so that you can be inspired by what's happening in South Africa, but ultimately so that we can build an ecosystem of voices that are owning our wealth. Aye.